take me alive. I'm getting high with my 4-5. Cops only suffer time to die. Even as a youngster, causing ruckus on the back of the bus. I was a fool all through high school, kicking up dust, but now I'm labeled as a troublemaker. Who can you blame? Smoking weed up, we take away the pain. So I'm hopeless, rolling down the freeway, swerving. Don't worry, I'm about to crash upon the curb, cause my business bloody, baby. If they try to understand me, what should I do? I had to feed my fucking family. What else could I do but be a thug? I'm slanging with the homies, fuck hanging with them phonies in the club. Got my mind on danger, never been a stranger to homicide. My city's full of gangbangers and drive-bys. Why do we die at an early age? He was so young, but still a victim of the 12 gauge. My memories of a coast, mind full of sick thoughts, and I ain't going back to court. So fuck what you thought. I'm drinking Hennessy, running from my enemies. When I live a beat 23, there's so much pain.
Welcome, everyone. How is everybody? What are we on? Friday night? Friday night. Is everyone having a good Friday night? Hey, Maga. Hey, Alan Girl. Hey, Heather. How are we? Everyone, please, before we get started, please like, follow, and share this out. I'd really appreciate it. Hello, everybody on YouTube, on Instagram, and on X. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. You're fine, Joseph. It's great seeing you as well. I have to put everything in there. I am waiting on my guest to get here. He'll be here shortly. But you guys, this supposedly happened over Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm not sure. I can't back it up, but I do have an article from in Virginia where an exact type of situation happened. I don't know. I call it the Ring of Fire. It started out like so and went to this point, and then it activated, but they call it the Ring of Fire. Now, the only time I've ever seen any of those was when there's a volcano, and I don't think we have any volcanoes here. I just don't think we do. But here's an article. It says Williamsburg, Virginia. That was a mystery black ring appeared in the sky over southeastern Virginia on Tuesday. Next Star's Wavy started receiving messages shortly after 11 a.m. as viewers have reached out with images and video of the ominous-looking ring floating in the sky. Some were trying to put in the AI generator to see if it was AI, and it said it wasn't 100%. I think it was somewhere like 40% possibly that's what it was, but who knows? Who knows? Gravel, I think you're here. Everyone, welcome Gravel in. Hey, Gravel. Good to
I
see
am.
you,
I'm
buddy.
here. I'm here. I'm still getting set up. My new
You want
laptop
me
is
to?
on the way, so
You're
I'm still
fine.
on my phone. But
You're fine. You do your
yeah.
thing, buddy, and I'll just roll with it. We'll just
Okay,
keep on
keep going, girl.
rolling.
Keep going.
Sure will. That's what we do. I just learned, though, I do need to give you guys a recall that is going on. I try to keep all of the followers and the listeners up with this. There has been a recall, according to an announcement from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. This is at Walmart's. The apple juice recalled is due to high levels of arsenic. In June 2023, the FDA set the guidelines of allowing for no more than 10 parts per billion. Why they would even allow arsenic, even in a small dose, to be in any kind of edible food, drink, or anything is beyond me. Says if you have symptoms of arsenic poisoning can begin within 30 minutes of consuming high levels of arsenic. They may include abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, pins and needles feeling on your fingers and toes, red swollen skin, and more. The apple juice that they have recalled, it's the recalling about 10,000 cases of it. It's great value, 100% apple juice 6-packs, packaged in 8-ounce PET plastic bottles. The affected products have a best if used by date of December 28th of this year. The UPC code is 0-78742-29655-5. The apple juice was distributed to Walmart locations every state. So if you have this, check your cupboards, check your pantries, check your cabinets, and see if it's possible that you actually have them in there. So take those bad boys back to the store and you let them know, hey, I don't want your product. I don't want your arsenic. I can't believe that even the health and food, well, I can with them, how we think about them. They would even want you to take a chance. Well, if it's certain levels, it's unharmful. Seriously? Are you freaking kidding me? Kids drink this. Babies drink this. You dilute it to give it to babies. This government is out to get us. Plain and freaking simple. I mean, I can't believe that they would even say, well, it's below a certain amount. Are you freaking kidding me? You can't do that. It is a natural compound. It might be a natural compound, Tanya, but it can be natural away from my body. I don't care. Arsenic, period. I don't want any of the shit. Do you, Grandma? Would you want your kids drinking it even
No,
in a small
no,
amount?
no. It's like what we were talking about on your show the other night, country.
Mhm.
The AB bus, vasectomy bus at the DNC. It's like, okay, we don't even need to pull the veil back at this point. It's like happening right in
You
front of
have
us.
it, babies. Exactly. Here you have it, guys. We're just going to look at the good value. And you notice how it is targeting what? Good value products that are cheapest and affordable with the economy that we have right now and the way prices of food are. So they're hitting great value products. Why don't you hit the name brand shit? Hit that shit. Stay out of where the poor people have to eat and buy. Good God. I mean, you contaminate our cereals, you contaminate the rice, and that is the two compounds products and pinto beans. That is stuff you can make multiple meals out of and get full on and make it last and spread it out to your families. You notice it's all set up by design. It has to be. Come on, people. It has to be. That's like
You
right
know,
now.
I,
Let's see, go
you
back.
know, I was never country. I was never a big conspiracy theory guy on population control, but the more I'm kind of taking a step back and looking at this,
Right.
um, and I talked about it. That guy, darn, I can't remember his name. Um, he wasn't a bad guy, but he was talking about women's reproductive health. This
Right.
is before I went through the whole UPS thing with my dad, but whatever. Um, I keep asking people, women's my understanding of women's reproductive health is to have a baby.
Hmm.
Now, if a woman has ovarian cancer, some, cervix cancer, uteral cancer, you know, I understand that, but they keep using women's reproductive health. And I'm not trying to stray from your topic, but it all kind of aligns because I can't figure out. I'm like, all
Well,
right,
I
so
mean,
now
these
we're
chemicals would harm a reproductive system as well.
right. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I figured that's where you was going. I thought I'd help you out, give you a little push a little bit, there. I got your back, Gravel. I got it. Please like, follow, and share, guys. Let's get this bad boy out. Come on, let's do it. We can do it. Now I'm going to give you another one. You guys know that listeria has been showing up, okay, in our lettuce, cheese, butter, sour cream. A lot of these products are coming from Somalia. Well, this has been going on for a year now. I've reported on it for a year. Many other content creators and other podcasters have been reporting on it. It's outside, the mainstream media doesn't seem to have a freaking clue, to tell the American people, watch out, guys, this shit's not good. Well, finally, the FDA is launching an investigation into the new listeria outbreak. The source of some salmonella outbreak determined to be Mangoes. Look, now it's in mangoes. What is this? It seems to me, honestly, it looks like they're just attacking our whole entire food. You know how it goes. Control the food, control the people. Number one, control the food, you control the people. Plain and simple. That's how they play. That's how that works. Period. That's just the way it goes. That's how it goes. It's just sad. Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, it whether it's 2A, whether it's the food, whether it's what we saw at the DNC the last 4 days, it's a small tearing away at the Constitution. And the food thing, I got that, but I don't. They There is an ulterior motive, and I'll
Okay.
just say it like that. There's an ulterior motive. It
Yeah, we
doesn't.
understand.
Whether it's 1A, 2A, the food, all that, there's an
Right.
ulterior motive. And something is
Well,
up. Something is up. And I
something
think,
is massively up. Are they imported, Tanya? Yes. Some come from Indonesia, other countries, which why our corn is coming from there now. I don't understand, because it wasn't coming from there before, unless Walmart decided to make a little deal with the devil, so to speak, which is possibly what has been taking place here because I don't know, things are different. You can go buy a can of corn at Walmart that says good value corn, and you can look on that corn and it will tell you certain chemicals to watch out for. It will tell you if you eat large quantities of this product, you will get lead poisoning. It states that on the good value corn can. I have so many content creators that contact me. I have so many that have been doing videos. I've got some of them that go in their pantry and grab every single can of it they got, and they've been dumping it in their garbage cans. Look at the labels. I'm serious. If you look at your labels, you will be amazed at what's in there. You got your geoengineering, which thank God here in Tennessee, you cannot do any geoengineering in our skies, chemtrails, or none of that shit anymore. And our skies are blue, so pretty. That shit's got to stop. I think every state needs to get on board with that because you spraying that shit in the air, coming down, hitting the ground, getting in our soil. Farmers, this government is gone wacko. This government is just completely gone in freaking insane. Well, you know how we always talk about our 2A? Okay. Well, you know how a lot of people talk about, well, what type of weapons that you can get, what weapons you're allowed to have, what you can purchase. A Trump judge ruled that there's a Second Amendment right to own machine guns. The Supreme Court's burden decisions will keep on creating chaos until it is overruled. Now, of course, it's a Democrat that doesn't agree with it. Um, Shows a Ukrainian fighter protecting and using this kind of weapon. This is the kind of weapon they're saying that the courts upheld, saying they could purchase. They could purchase. Now, why someone would really want a machine gun is beyond me. At the moment, I don't know, but maybe it falls in the line, a weapon's a weapon. And when you start messing around with the Second Amendment and saying, well, it can be this, this, and this, maybe he thought, well, if he said you couldn't have that, then they would go on to say you can't have the ARs. Um, who knows? Who knows how their mindset works with all of this? I sure as heck don't. I have no idea how it works.
that right there, that's what I'm talking about. That is the tearing away of the rights. Now there is some 2A stuff, and a lot of 2A people would not agree with me, like the red flag laws, for example.
Hmm.
I'm actually okay with that, like a background check,
Why
because
would you want a machine gun now? What the hell would you need a machine gun that big
you
bad boy
you well
for?
you don't need one. So I was looking into this, and
I'm
there
sure
was
you.
it was like 1986, 1987, full auto, and in particular 50 cal was banned, and it was actually banned under Reagan.
Mhm.
And then Clinton tried to, please don't quote me here. Clinton tried to say anything that looks, I'll show you.
I wouldn't show it on here tonight because I'm streaming on a couple other platforms. So I wouldn't show it
Okay,
on here tonight 'cause
I
I am
won't show
streaming
it.
on a couple
I
other
won't show
platforms.
it then. All right,
Yeah.
I'll respect your
Thank
live
you.
here.
But we get the point. I get the point. But yeah, I'm streaming on Instagram tonight, and I'm not sure what their guidelines allow me to do and not do until I get to read it.
Okay, no problem. But I think so. So what I could have showed you was it's an AR, and I actually have two of them. But it's semi, so it's as
Mm,
just like a
it it
a
goes.
pistol. Well, it's a semi-auto, so it's as fast as I can pull the trigger.
Oh, okay. It's not automatic.
Yeah, I mean, you need like a it's called like a 5-level license. And those are mostly for the gun dealers, where they can actually sell them. Yeah, the Brody bill. That's what it was.
Hey Lee,
Uh,
welcome in.
the but that's what it is. I mean, but on this AR that's right next to me and my other one, it's as fast
Mhm.
as it's no different actually than a 22 or a
What, a machine?
I'm sorry.
How fast would a machine gun be? Is it along the lines
Well,
of eight?
so on a machine gun, um, I'm sure Marines or Army can speak better to this than I can. I mean, I can tell you
Mhm.
how to fire a gun from a plane, but we had to fire M4s. Basically, you pull the trigger down, you just hold the trigger,
Okay,
and you empty the mag. Um, so that's gone, and it's been gone for years. So with the semi-autos, it still takes like trigger, trigger, trigger,
oh,
trigger.
okay,
That's how it
okay,
works. Even if it's an
okay,
AR, if you legally own, you don't have a bump stock or anything like that.
okay.
Um, so I'm just talking basics here. Uh, that's how the round goes out as quickly as you can shoot.
I
But with a
gotcha.
full auto, it's a whole different story. You just hold the trigger down,
I guess
essentially.
I'll just have to go watch me a movie that has both of them in it and then get the idea of what it is. That's about as close as I'm ever going to get to one, I hope. I don't want to
Yeah,
get close to machine gun shit. No. That's shit. But if you want to own it, that's your biz. That's your biz. Because I think if you start messing with the 2A, um, then you start chipping away at it. I mean, you have this and this, and that just opens up the door to where they say, but you can't have the ARs, you can't have this. And before long, you can't carry, you can't have anything. And that is the end game. Lee had put a comment in here about the chemicals. On chemicals and stuff, here is God's promise. Luke 10:19. Behold, I have given you authority to walk on snakes and scorpions and authority over all the power of the enemy, and nothing will injure you. Amen, Lee. Good to see you. Hey, Devil Dog, good to see you. You use a saw. I love it. I love it. Well, let's see. Let me get this out of here so I know. Does anyone know what the U.S. Citizenship Act is of 2021? Anybody looked at that? That was brought up at the DNC.
I actually don't. Go ahead.
Oh,
I
well, I'm
learn
gonna
something new
I'm
every
gonna
day.
I'm gonna read a little bit for you.
Okay.
The U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021 was a legislative bill that was proposed by President Joe Biden on his first day in office. It was formally introduced in the House of Representatives, Linda Sanchez. It died with the ending of 117th Congress. The bill would make, get this, sweeping changes across the board to the United States immigration, visa, and border control systems, including reversal and congressional prohibition of many of the immigration related executive actions of former President Donald Trump, providing a path to legal residence and eventual citizenship for as many as 11 million undocumented immigrants in the United States, as well as current DACA and temporary protected status beneficiaries, essential workers on a non immigrant status, and agricultural laborers, recreating the visa program to allow families to await immigrant visa approval together in the U.S., ending county specific visa annual maximums, granting immediate relative status to spouses and children of green card holders, and other changes. So, with this, if you read a little bit further, let's say you have, they come here, they get legal, they're here. Um, their family members can come straight on over and be legal. And then it would overturn so many bills that Trump had already put in place against this. So, pretty much, wide open border, come on over, you'll be considered a legal American, and that's it. And you know what would happen then? All the votes would be completely paid Democrat votes. That's how that would work. And we'd be stuck with a Democrat indefinitely, which Joe Biden
Well,
had actually stated similar to that.
you know what, country, you're right. And there's a
Hmm.
term for this. I'm trying to think of off the top of my head. There's a term for this. It's like birth by uh birth by citizenship. I, I can't
Something,
think of the
yeah.
term, but basically, two immigrants come here, they have a kid, and then the kid is considered, whether the parents are or not,
An
the
American.
kid is considered a U.S. citizen.
Well, isn't that how it used to be? Parents, a couple come over here, a woman comes over here and she gets pregnant, she has the child. If she's illegal, she's still considered illegal, but the child would be an American because it's been born here in America, in the US.
Yeah, generally speaking, you're right. Generally speaking, you're right. I mean, but they would have legal citizenship or some sort of citizenship, whether it's a visa or some sort of, I'll just say a
Well,
visa.
I just know
They're
that
here.
they're messing with our constitution there, and you can't just say, well, I want this to be, I mean, well, if they had control of the House and the Senate, they could probably do just about anything they wanted to do. That's the end game here with the Democrats. They want control, they want president, they want vice president, they want control of the House, and they want control of the Senate. That way they can push. And at the beginning of this term with Biden, we saw exactly how that worked. Oh, Kamala was the, if it was a tie vote, she was the deciding factor. And of course, we knew which direction that deciding factor, was going to go in specifically, which it did many times in many other
Oh,
things.
yeah. I mean, and the whole thing with Kamala is that I don't understand like this whole like joy thing and all they're talking about.
That was what was sung and said back in Germany in the you know what days.
Oh, it was a total pep rally. I mean, I was like, and I am German. Actually,
Yeah.
my
I
great
got a little
grandparents,
bit of German, a little bit of
yeah,
German, mostly
well, my
Irish.
my great grandparents, just so you're, they actually escaped. Um, well, not escape. That's probably not the right word. They had left Germany,
Hmm.
um, because they didn't like what was going on, and that was in the late 20s. Then
Oh
my
wow.
grandparents were born, and both of my grandfathers were actually U.S. Army Air Corps bomber pilots. Um, they survived, but you know, They used to not my great grandparents, but my grandparents used to
Mhm.
tell me stories about how Germany was,
It was
and
probably
they're
pretty
also
bad.
not. Yeah. Oh, it was awesome.
It's
I mean,
horrible.
they were the my grandfathers were like the what do you call them? The band of brothers, but
Oh,
they were Army Air Corps. They weren't band of
okay.
brothers. They weren't band of brothers. I'm not claiming that. They weren't band,
You're
but
it's
they
a
were. It was that.
analogy.
It was an analogy, absolutely.
It was an
But
analogy.
they would tell me stories to your point, country, about Germany and how it was descending. And when I saw the DNC last night, and when I saw Kamala speak, which she only spoke for about 37 minutes, and you were actually uh grandma was nice enough to let me just and
I was
everybody
watching.
comment.
I was
Okay,
watching it, but we ended up coming on here, and I thought, okay, well, we're gonna stream it. So I thought I had found a stream and was streaming it, but I was in someone else's podcast, so it kind of it was cool though. It was cool. I mean, they were saying their parts; they were on point. Um,
oh no,
it was
you had a lot of
Crowder.
good
It
you
was
had a lot
Crowder.
of yeah, you had a lot of great guests up, and everybody was being cool, and basically everybody was saying, which I was too. It's like, uh, she just lied. She just lied. She just lied. I mean,
Well, talking about lying, let's talk about lying for a minute.
go ahead. Go ahead.
The Democrats, they stand up there, Kamala professing, I can't even say it because it's just so disgusting. She's in office. But she says she's gonna fix the prices. Usually, you say that when someone else has been in office for the last 4 years and caused all this damage and shit, but she's in office. She's in that position. She's in that seat. Um, she agrees with Biden's policies. She agrees with all of his stuff. She can't even say what the policies are, but she agrees with it. But see, they're giving you lip service. They're giving you word salad. They're telling you what you wanna hear, Democrats. That's what they're doing. They're just telling you the things they're playing that violin and they're telling you the things you want to hear because they're just buying their time. You know how I know? Watch this video. This is how I know.
Look, Democrats.
Democrats promise this, Kamala stands up there and promises that for the American people. But whenever they're not in front of the camera, how do they react? Well, let's watch.
We got 70 days to act right, y'all. That's right. After 7 days, we can go back there and crazy. Right? Oh, and I promise.
So after the election in 70 days, they're trying to get your vote, trying to promise you everything under the sun, manipulate. This country will be unrecognizable. Country crazy out.
I don't usually show my own videos, but I did on that one because I'd already had it together. But yeah, that was a hot mic moment where they had their mic left on and didn't realize it. So they are admitting that they're putting on a show for you guys. But I don't think the Democrats care about the show because I haven't seen one Democrat pissed off because they took their democracy away. And when I say that, they took their vote away. They took your vote away, but you're okay with that because you said Kamala was on the ticket. I didn't see a primary. And yeah, they can do Democrats, they can do some kind of changing crap with their stuff. Um, but they're lying to you. They're lying to you. They're telling you what you want to hear, however you want to hear it. They're spoon feeding you the bullshit, and you're eating it up like Sunday dinner at grandmama's house. And then when the time comes and shit falls apart, trust me, you will be affected. Do you think that they're going to completely say just because you're a Democrat, you voted Democrat, you're registered as a Democrat, you're out of this game? It's not going to affect you? I mean, I don't know, but a lot of the Democrats I've talked to, they talk about how the economy's booming, how they've got better retirement now than they've ever had, and some have gotten to retire. Well, I mean, I'm happy for you prospering and everything. Good for you. But I would say a good percentage of probably 80% of Americans are struggling, if not more. And some parents have to choose between allowing feeding their kids and them doing without the food so their kids can eat, gas in their car, school started, school closed, you name it, all that stuff. But no.
You know what, country? You know, look, I want to say something to that, and I
Go
can't
ahead.
say this on your TikTok live.
You go ahead.
I would not believe them when they say my 401k is doing great, or the economy is good. And I'm not talking even about Biden or Kamala. I'm talking about like these people out there that are getting fed this bull crap, if you will. Um, it, I guarantee you, because I've challenged them, and normally I get kicked out. But I'm like, okay, so what are
Go
you investing?
figure.
You know, and they can't answer it, but they'll tell you my 401k is doing well, and I'm like, really? So what? Who do you invest with? And you just start like asking those. These are basic questions, right?
Right.
And they start like all of a sudden they backpedal, and then I get kicked out or I get banned or whatever. But
Well, these social media streets, they're tough. I mean, it's like being the freaking gangsters and shit. I'm serious. Social media
yeah.
has gotten to a point of they actually have gangs. How you could do that in social media, it's a whole nother world. It is a whole nother world. They have gangs. And when they gang up on you, I've seen it happen. I've seen this shit go down. They'll flood your comments. I mean, it's crazy. It's neat watching how it works. How it, they do that, but it's horrible. I mean, it's tough out here. I mean, you go in somebody's live and talk and be understanding and not be the type to just be rude. It doesn't matter. They look for a fight. They want to fight. They want discord. They want an argument. They've gotten so conditioned to it over the past 4 years that there's nothing you can do about it. That's why we keep pushing. We have to unite. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. But at the end of the day, we're gonna have to unite because these problems, they're gonna affect everyone. Period.
Oh,
Plain and simple.
yeah, double dog. You're right. 401k is tanked. So my advice is, I mean, you might. It depends on what anyone's investment strategy is. Were you low risk? Were you medium risk? Were you high risk? You know, but any Democrat that comes into a TikTok live and says my 401k is doing great, I guarantee you, they don't have a 401k. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Because
Well,
as
I
soon
have a
as I
lot that come through and say that. They say, well, oh, I'm not retired. I got to retire since Biden's been in office. Well, he must have known Pelosi.
yeah, yeah, I just I don't, and then after the DNC and what happened there, I mean, I was
Is it
sitting
over?
there. I actually talked to my sons about this. I was because they watched it. They were sitting on their bean bags, and I was like, "Well, what did you guys think?" And they go,
What they say? What tell us? What did the younger generation, future generations? How old are your sons?
about to be 16 and 15.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us. What did they say?
They they were like, I've told you this story before because they
Right.
actually saw the A attempt on Trump, because we were watching that one too. But they were sitting there watching it, and they're like, "Here's what they said." My older son turns to me And he goes, Dad, is this like Disneyland?
I mean, even your children at that age is viewing the DNC's. I don't know. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was a concert. Someone earlier said that it was a very well energetic concert, is what people said. It was a concert. Um, they had the one singer, Little John, which I like that song. Turn down for what?
Turn
Um,
down the what? Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't see that? I'd like to see him in concert, but you got to think about it. They're pulling all of these movie stars and they pull these singers in, and it's free tickets, free concert. This is the mindset. I'm sure they're, because it's Gen Z. They ended up they was flying them out. They were getting them off TikTok, and Gen Z is on TikTok. That's 70-80% of her voter base right there. Because the hardworking Americans, like, screw you, Kamala, you don't do shit for us. Screw you. We're going with Trump, period. And that's it, you know. And there we have it. But Trump
Well,
did speak tonight. Go ahead.
go ahead, country. Go ahead. Go ahead, sweetie.
Oh, well, let me release. What happened when King Arab sent 2 loads of horsemen, 50 horsemen against God's chosen Elijah? They were vaporized by lightning. Absolutely right. God said it. Do not touch my anointed. That's the creation, his people. And they couldn't get Trump. I'm telling you, I really believe Trump has been anointed for this moment in time in history in our country, because he shouldn't be here by the as close as that bullet. And I believe God was trying to show people, look, I'm here, trust, believe. But there's so many that are going against it. And, tonight he had a rally. Where was the rally at tonight? In was it Arkansas?
It was in Glendale, Arizona,
Arizona. It was one of the A's.
just to
So
the
it was
south.
in your neck of the
It
woods.
was, yeah, it was in my state.
In your
And he was
state.
on
I
the
forgot to
border.
check
He
this.
was on the border yesterday, on the border next to the wall.
I
And
see.
he actually had some of the families, the notable is not the right word, but I'll use the
We
word
played
notable.
I played, I think it was a 5-minute video of one of the parents of the mother of the daughter who was brutally killed and raped,
Yeah,
and they were
Jocelyn,
set free. Yeah,
yeah.
and yeah, I mean, it's
Well,
disgusting. It is
and,
disgusting.
and here's the thing. Here's the thing with these people. And I don't understand why the Democrats don't get this. These people have been captured, locked up, released. So they came across the border illegally, right?
Yeah,
Then they commit some low level crime.
heinous.
And, whether it's whatever you consider a low level crime, they get captured, they get out on like a no bail, you know, or maybe like a $500 bail or whatever it is.
Well, that's
And
wasting
then they go
tax
out,
dollars.
then they go out and, uh, I'll say it like this, whack some little girl. I mean, I'm like, uh, I, I mean, we all see this as parents, country. I know you're a mom, grandmother. Um, how can you not like, not you, but I mean, how can you not see this? And like that dude that was up in your live earlier, he's like, because the immigration thing came up, and he was like,
Mhm.
well, everybody deserves to be treated fairly or whatever he said. Um, I'm like, no, these people are really
That was
freaking
James.
dangerous.
I don't know where he must be getting his shit out of a Cracker Jack box. That's the only thing I think of. He's opening up that little paper and he's reading it and it's giving him that info. I mean, he must be getting it out of there or Mad Magazine. I don't even know if they have those anymore. But he was, I mean, I try to give both sides, and let them have a voice. And the way I look at it and why I have so much patience with it is they can sit there and they can speak the rhetoric bullshit over and over and over, and people will start waking up and seeing it because it's unraveling right before us. Okay, and they can talk and talk and talk. They had no viewpoints. They had nothing to talk about. Kamala had no policies. She didn't have shit to say. 37 minutes of talking. Okay, and it was rambling pretty much. And then you had Pelosi coming up. I don't know what the hell did she drop out of her pocket, a bottle of liquor or something.
It
Something
was
dropped
like
out of her
toilet
pocket up
paper or
there.
something. It was weird.
I agree, Devil Dog, like Beast. But Beast is my buddy. He's my buddy, and hopefully we can get through to him at some point. I don't know. I don't know if we can or not. But Trump did speak tonight in RFK. What is
Oh
it? It's
yeah,
been
yeah. This is a
for a
good one.
week.
This is a good
For a
one.
week now. I haven't got to see it. I hadn't got to see it. I did upload it though, but I'm not sure if I have it in the order of which it was. So we're gonna go with it, and if they're out of order, we're still gonna go with it.
It's in our food. That's why today I'm repeating my pledge to establish a panel of top experts working with Bobby to investigate what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic health problems and childhood diseases, including autoimmune disorders, autism, obesity, infertility, and many more. We want every child in America to grow up and to live a long and healthy life. So I just want to ask Bobby to speak for a little while. I'll stand aside. I'm going to stand aside. But I can only tell you, I've known him a long time. We've been a little bit on the opposite side of the equation, but I will say this, he is a brilliant, I still think of him as young. He's not that young. I always call him young, but he's not that young. But he is a phenomenal person, a phenomenal man who loves the people of this country as much as anybody can love the people of this country. So, Bobby, please say a few words. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, President Trump.
You see what
Those numbers are big to start off with, but Bobby and I will fight together to defeat the corrupt political establishment and return control of this country to the people.
And they are giving it back to the people. Isn't it interesting? Bobby Kennedy.
And the safest, the best way to build a safe America is to rebuild our industrial base and rebuild the middle class in this country. And don't you want a president who's going to get us out of the wars and who's going to rebuild the middle class in this country? And he told me that he wanted to end the censorship because the whole basis of American democracy is the free flow of information. And we know that a government that can silence its opponents has license for any kind of atrocity. And can you think of any time that you can look back in history and say that the people who were censoring were the good guys? They're always the bad guys, because it's always the first step down that slippery slope to totalitarianism. And don't you want a president who's going to protect America's freedoms, who's not filled with chemicals that are going to give them cancer and chronic disease. And don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again? Thank you all very, very much, and God bless you, and God bless America.
Amen. I'm really pleased to see that. I was wondering if it was going to happen because, reports kept coming out one minute that he wasn't going to endorse him unless he said Project Warp Speed was a failure. And then at one point, is his name going to still be on the ballot? Because they said something about they take his name off of the ballot in the battleground states, but he would remain on the other states.
It probably, Ramaswamy, for example, and Haley, even
Right.
after they both and DeSantis said I'm resigning, they still were on the primaries. The general, I'm not sure. Because RFK Jr., it's a little peculiar because he's an independent. And you got to have so many
Right.
percentage of the votes and whatnot.
Mhm.
But I saw that speech earlier. It was on Newsmax as you portrayed it. He's got a point about like I'm not trying to go like a rabbit hole or anything like that, country. But why is everybody so sick? Like what? I'll give you. Can I get anecdotal with you for a second?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. I was dating a girl, right? This was a long time ago, years ago, after I got divorced. And she pulled out, she had kids, I have kids. She pulled out this pill box. And it was like, you know how a pill box looks. It was like Monday through Sunday. But the girl was like, her daughter was like
Mhm.
12 or 13, something around there, like preteen, teen, a tweenie, however you want to say it. And I'm like, and I asked her, I said, what is all this medication for? Because my view of it was that I don't really see anything wrong with it. I mean, but why? What is going on here? And she was like, well, she's depressed, and she's got ADHD, ADD. Now, I don't want to piss off your followers. I'm saying from my own personal view, like what I observed. I was like, she doesn't really. I was talking to her and I was like, and this is my girlfriend, not the daughter. I was like, she seems like she's like medicated. Like I don't know. I don't know if it's. I mean, her daughter was a pretty girl. Don't take that the wrong way or anything like that. But I was like, I don't understand. Like what exactly is the problem? And the only thing I kept hearing was that she's depressed, and I'm like, she's 13. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe somebody else can answer that for me, you know?
Um, well, I work in the mental health field, but they do always try to medicate, which you got big pharma getting richer and richer. That's how that works. Um, and the younger generation, that's what the parents do now. Well, I'm going to take you to the doctor. I'm going to take you here, and then a doctor works for another doctor, even if they aren't the same. Um, you got one that might be just a regular MD, And they're like, okay, well, they got these problems where I'm going to have to send them out to a psychiatrist or a therapist. Going to send them over there. They get them over there and they say, okay, well, we're going to try you on this medication. Okay, this medication doesn't work. We're going to try you on another medication. Okay, well, this medication controls this, and we have to get another medication to take care of this, and then we have to get another medication to take care of this. And before long, you've got your kid so zombied out, adults so zombied out to a point of, now I'm not saying medication is needed in some instances, it is. But big pharma is out there and all they want to do is keep getting richer. And I don't know if they're allowed to do it anymore. I don't think doctors are allowed to get kickbacks anymore, but I do know you used to see the pharmaceutical companies rolling around with their little suitcases coming into the doctor's offices. Well, they would have different samples of medications, and they would give them to these doctors, and the doctors would receive the samples. And if they were pushing it and they had a quote, okay, if you get so many people this month to try this and you get it filled, then they get more money. You got the pharmacies, you got the pharmaceutical company, you got the patient, you got the insurance companies. They're all getting rich. That they're just getting rich. It's not about taking care of the American people anymore. It's not taking about mental health as far as we don't have enough of it. It's always, let's push this pill on them. Let's push this medicine on them. Let's do that. Let's, instead of really finding out what the problem is and working on it in some kind of natural way. I'm not saying you don't take medication. I'm saying there are some instances where you don't have to take medication. You can honestly work through things like childhood trauma. It's always going to be there. But if you go through, I went through it my entire life. And I got addicted to pain pills when I had a spinal fusion done. I was addicted. I was out there. I was homeless. I did all of that mess. You name it, I did it. Period. It's a wonder I'm sitting here today. I shouldn't be, but God had other plans for me, maybe to be here. But I just know that
Yes, he did.
there is another way out than having to take, medications. And that's what they do. That was like after surgery. It's, back then, I know the rules have changed and the laws are changing now when it comes to opiates and stuff. Um, write the pain medicine. This was my journey. I don't know if it's everybody else's. Have a surgery, you get the pain medication. Once you get the pain medication, you're on it for a good minute. You start getting, okay, I need this. The brain, it's mental. It's a mental struggle. The brain will tell you you need that. You need that. And taking too much pain medication and taking it often will cause you to have pain. Your body releases its own pain medication within itself, a tolerance of it. I'm not saying you don't need pain medication, but there are instances you do. I had a total knee replacement done a year ago, August the 16th. Recently, it was a year. Um, and what I liked about my doctor is, first off, I had to be honest and say, look, it's an evil enemy that could grab me up and take me back out there. First, be honest and be accountable. Okay. And I told my doctor about my past life, my past history. Um, because unless you tell that, it's not going to be on that form. It's not going to be given. You have to verbalize it to them. And what they set up with this particular doctor, they set up a protocol for medication that you only got you only got three prescriptions, period, throughout the whole entire process of your knee, of this total knee replacement. And that was it. And you signed that contract saying, I agreed to this. Now, if you continue to have problems like any doctor, they refer you out to a pain management specialist. And that's how a lot of doctors do. But what I really liked about my doctor was he listened to me, and I felt like he protected me, and I was happy with that protocol. And if you're drug seeking and you want the pain medicine, you're not going to be happy with that protocol. You're going to want to have it to where you have a doctor that would just push it. But what I like about this one is he didn't push it. He set up the protocol. I think I filled maybe a couple of prescriptions of it because I had a rough bout with it. But one thing is, I had to be honest with myself. And when I knew it started coming up, to where I knew it was at that point to where I could easily go back to it, I prayed first and foremost, and I said, okay. And I remembered that's a way of life I don't want. That is a way of life I don't ever want to go back to. It took me 3 times in rehab in order to get to where I'm at today. My last stint took me 6 months away from my family and everyone turning their back on me in order for me to realize I had to have enough. You hurt people. You hurt people when you're in addiction. You don't realize it because after a while, when you're in addiction, it's not about getting high anymore. It's about not getting sick. The high is gone at some point. It's about just not getting sick. You wake up and you're chasing that day. You're trying to, sorry guys, if this is a trigger for some, you wake up that day and you're trying to just find what you need. You would spend 10 hours to 12 hours to 15 hours to that day just getting what you need off the street or wherever. And then finally, when you get it, you wake up the next day and you're doing it all over again. And this is a cycle that these doctors continuously push on the people. If they cared about you, they would have protocols. They would have things in place. Okay, sign this contract before I do this surgery, and you understand you get X amount. That's it. Nothing else. That's it. Because your body is built. And if you really, really don't want to use, you can. You can survive it. You can get past it. I used to sit in the rooms when I would go to NA. I went to AA as well because even though I wasn't an alcoholic, I knew that I could easily swap one thing for another very quickly, very fast. So I went to both because I wanted to understand both because they are different. People may say they're not, but they are different. And when I went, I would sit and I still remember when I was the newcomer and I was new, it was my first meeting outside of rehab. And I was very, um, I wanted to make sure I stayed clean the last time. I wanted to make sure that's what I wanted. I was at a point in my life to where I'd lost everything and lost everyone in my life, and I had grandkids coming. I'll tear up. And
Go ahead. Go ahead. You're fine.
I
You're fine, Celine.
I wanted my life back. I needed my life back. I needed my family. Um, and when I hit my rock bottom, I called 30 different rehab facilities. And a lot of them wouldn't take me because I had had a spinal fusion. I had 5 fusions in my back. And I had had 5 spinal fusions, and they said, "Well, we're gonna have to get a doctor to release and say that you're okay to where we could do this and you don't need the pain medicine." And here I'm telling them and I'm begging them, "I need help. I don't want to take this. I need help. I don't want this anymore. I don't want this way of life. I want my life back." And so finally I found when I flew out to Tampa, and I was in Tampa for 6 months. I stayed for 6 months. When I got there, didn't want to be there, was terrified, you know. But then when it was time for me to leave, since it was so structured and I'd learned so much and I'd went through therapy and they didn't push pills on you, they didn't push all this stuff on you. If I was hurting, I took ibuprofen. It actually works. And so then when I left and flew back to Tennessee, that was the very scariest time of my life. And I had to take the tools that they taught me and they gave me because they gave me everything I needed in order to survive and get through this. I just had to be the one to be willing to be accountable first and apply what I had learned. And I was so determined to do it, so determined to do that. So when I got back, um, I did at least the 90 meetings in 90 days. I actually would do 2 or 3 a day. I would find the meeting because when I got out, it was like I
Was
was
it NA or AA or a
mine
combination?
was mine was NA, but if I did couldn't find an NA meeting, I grabbed an AA meeting because at least I was in a room. At least I was sitting there and I wasn't using, period. opiates was my drug of choice. And as long as I was sitting there, I was listening to stories. And I never understood at first when they kept saying the newcomer is the most important person in the room. And I never understood that. And they treated me so warmly. They treated me so lovely. They explained, I listened to their stories. I'd sit there and listen to people that had 30 years under their belt or 20 years under their belt, 17 years under their belt, and they were constantly talking about that, and I was like, how do you do it? Because here I'm anxious, got anxiety, um because see, I'd been in a structured environment for so long where it was safe and wasn't, you couldn't get in reach to anything, to I'm out in the world. I'm not babysitting anymore. I've got to deal with life on life's terms, and when it sucks, I've even still got to deal with it. And before, I would use to numb out. I would use to stop myself from feeling, because if I didn't feel, I didn't hurt. But I ended up hurting everybody around me because of my own selfishness. So then I went into this one meeting in my town, and I listened. I sat and I listened, and I really listened. And I saw other newcomers coming in, and I listened and I asked questions, the cravings, the nauseousness, because Satan is a liar. Satan is a
Yep.
liar. He will definitely destroy you in a second if he can. And he only gets to you through your mind. See, I'm God's child spiritually. I'm God's child, period. Because I asked the Lord to come into my heart, forgive me of my sins. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to deal with life struggles. It doesn't mean I'm not going to deal with reality and the things that happen here on earth, because I'm in flesh. So I'm going to deal with that. I just got to find a way to deal with it and not turn to a bottle to do that and numb out, because life sucks. It sucks. But you got to find something that makes you happy, something that makes you want to live for yourself, not for this person, not for that person, because you're never going to be enough for other people. You got to be enough for yourself. And you got to love yourself first and foremost. You have to love yourself. I even went as far as looking at myself in the mirror and telling myself, hey, I love myself. You're beautiful. You're worthy. And a lot of people would laugh at that. But I needed that, even if it was me giving myself the pickup, even if it was me telling me I loved me. Because as long as I loved me, I wasn't going to harm me. As long as I felt that, I wasn't going to harm me. But I was in that meeting. I picked up a sponsor on my very first meeting.
Cool.
I made sure I got an NA sponsor. I went to an AA group. I picked up an AA sponsor. I picked up 2 sponsors. And I did what they said. I did exactly what they said. And to give up that kind and give that power over to someone else, that was very hard for me, because I was a very controlling and selfish individual in my life. And I had to release that. I had to allow God to work first. But I knew God put these people in my path for a reason. So I had to allow Him to work through them to help me. But they can't keep me clean. I have to keep me clean at the end of the day. They can tell me all day long, but if I am, you relapse in the mind before you ever pick up the first pill or first drink, period. You
Really?
relapse here. Yes,
Really?
you relapse in the mind before you ever pick it up. You have already talked yourself into doing it. You have already talked yourself, period. And that's why it's so much easier when you do use it, because you've already up here. Okay, I'm going to do it. So I ended up getting them, and I did what they told me to do. They made me work the steps. Um, they made me stay in my word, because we have to feed our bodies as far as eating food. We have to eat to stay nourished.
Yes.
Body can't go without water for 72 hours or you die. You have to have water. Um, the spirit has to be fed too. The spirit has to be fed as well. You can't starve the spirit, or you're going to go back into the old ways. So I had to find a balance. listen to them. And once I started listening to them, they invited me to the pool parties. They invited me because they have get-togethers. It was like a whole new family. It was like a whole new world that they cared about me. They truly cared about my well-being. They cared if I stayed clean. They really cared. And it was such a great feeling. A perfect stranger was willing to sit there and talk with me. And if I called at 1 o'clock in the morning, I had using dreams. There's a thing called using dreams where you're sleeping and in your dream, you're dreaming of doing the things and it feels real when you wake up. So when you wake up, you have that craving and you have that feeling within your body, oh my God, like it was so real. And you're down on yourself. And you can't underestimate the enemy, though. That's the thing. Because you can think that you've got this thing whooped. You could be clean for 30 years, and I've seen people do it when I'd go in these rooms. I went for, I guess, 6 years straight in NA and AA, stayed in it, sponsors and everything. And to this day, I call one of my sponsors if I need her. She's on there if I needed her, just to talk or anything. Through my knee surgery, I had to be accountable. I had to have people around me that I set up beforehand. Okay, you know the situation, you know what's going on. That way people were there. Okay, this is what we're going to do. And I did that. But I had to be honest. I couldn't act like, okay, well, I got this, because it will creep up on you at any time in your lifetime and it will eat you up and spit you out. And every time you go back, it's 10 times worse, if not more. And sometimes you don't come back from it. Sometimes you just don't. And that's why I don't know why I'm talking about this. Maybe God just needs me to do it. I really don't know why I'm talking about it.
Hey, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Maybe I brought it up, not on you, country, but when I was talking about a girl I dated. But go ahead, please.
Um, Maybe somebody needs to hear it. There is hope. Don't be too hard on yourself, first and foremost, because we are our own worst critic and we will hurt ourselves worse than anybody ever could. Anybody ever could. I ate out of dumpsters. I lived in a car. I think this was for over a year and a half. I lived in a car. I slept on the street. I slept on park benches. I did it all to myself. The enemy will chew you up and spit you out quick, and it will happen so fast. That's why you have to keep good people around you. Um, it took me years to earn the trust of my family. Years
Do
to do
you
that.
have that now? Do you have that now, if I may ask?
Yes, I have relationships with my kids. Um, I'm hard on myself, still to this day. The devil will get in my head and, he'll tell me, well, they're better off, I guess I still hate on myself for what I put them through. But that's where I have to say, you know what? Satan, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. You have no authority here, period. And when I do that, I take authority over my life. And that's where I have to. I'm not perfect. I'm not the strongest person in the world. Um, but I do have this huge toolbox and I have the word of God. And anytime the word of God actually has everything in it that you ever need to know about how to get through anything in your life, period. It truly does. Now, we're human, we're here on earth, and we have that as a guide to put us in the right directions of the things we need to do for ourselves. But we are human beings, and women are emotional creatures. So we need that contact with other individuals, I believe. And so when I was
That's
able
for sure.
to,
That's for sure. Women are emotional creatures. I'll give you that one.
we're very emotional. Women are very emotional. Men are visual. They really are. They're visual. Women are emotional. We're emotional as freaking.
I don't mean to laugh. That was funny when you said that though.
He does, Lee. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Absolutely. But Jesus came to give life and life more abundantly, eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. Exactly. And so, um, I grew up with a dad who was an alcoholic for pretty much most of my young years and into my teenage years. I got married when I was 16, had my first kid at 17. I raised a little brother and sister. I never really had a life growing up, so, and I never was into drugs or anything. But when I had the spinal fusion done, man, it did me in. It did me in. It just did. And, you know, I had OD'd a few times, not knowing it, not meaning to, and it happened. Um, you
Well,
have to.
and country, like what I was bringing up, I love your story. You should actually write a book. I'm surprised you haven't put this out on TikTok. I mean,
I don't talk about
what
my private life a lot of
I got
times
you.
here.
I got you.
I'm on the
You
podcast of
should.
all places. I'm sitting here talking about
What
everything.
what an amazing story, though. I mean, going through everything you said, and I want you to keep talking. I don't mean to interrupt you. Um, but I'm telling you, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
He does.
I get this question a lot, and I'll tell you, I don't think I have an addiction problem because I don't. So the way this whole thing came up, I was talking about this girl I was dating, and her kid was on pills. But
Mhm,
like your story, okay, you had knee surgery, so you
mhm.
had actually a surgery, and you had, but this girl I was dating was just feeding her kid pills, and I was like, I can't get past this. I go, why are you doing that? Because there's nothing wrong. I mean, nothing's wrong with her, but she kept coming back and saying she's depressed, and I'm like,
Well,
she's 13.
did she not have a dad in her life? Was her dad in her life?
Okay,
Um,
all right. So here's where it goes. Her dad committed suicide.
There you have it. There you have it.
So it was very hard to understand. And I'm not trying to sound like an asshole here.
Well, the thing is, I understand it's hard to understand, but see, society has made it set it up to where we were to fail. This is my opinion. I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but this is me with life experience. Um, Society has set it up to where you fail. It's either take a pill and let that handle it instead of giving us the tools we need to overcome the things that come in our path. Um, Therapy does work. I've went through years of therapy, you know. I was in a 10-year marriage that killed me 3 times, but I'm here. I've had reconstructive surgery on my face. My wrist has been completely redone from where he kicked the shit out of me. I shouldn't be here, but I am. I've went through so many things in my life, and I could easily have took the easy way out. I could have easily grabbed something to numb out. Even through all of that, I kept God next to me. I learned the hard way that I can, if I'm going to make choices and decision for myself, I'm going to screw it up and I'm going to screw it up heavy. Absolutely. But if I have God guiding me and I really put my faith in Him and I truly am like, you know what, God, now I'm human. I worry. I shouldn't, but I do. I don't have everything figured out. I freak out about a lot of things. Um, but I know at the end of the day, I tell myself, you know what, God, there's a reason for whatever's happening, and I have to trust you. I have to trust you. And that's what I tell myself every day. I have this tattoo I had tattooed on my arm. Second Corinthians, sorry, chapter 4, verse 17 and 18. Two verses that are mean so much. Pretty much means this too shall pass. This too
It
shall
always
pass.
it always will. I mean,
Mhm.
when you get in a sticky situation, and especially if you got like good friends or family, that are willing to stand by you, and forgiveness is a big thing.
Mhm.
Forgive you, you know, even if you made the mistake. I mean, you know, it, it, uh, it, having people around you, having that human relation, it goes so far. I mean, country, I've never met you in person, but I
Yeah.
have like a click with you, if you will. Um,
Absolutely.
and I'm not hitting on you or anything like that. I mean, you know, but
Are you trying to date me?
you got a great personality. I love your show. Um,
Thank
I
you.
love your lives. Um, you know, you have like a ton of talent, and
Oh, I appreciate that.
yeah,
I'm just me. I'm just me.
well, and that's all you can be is just be yourself. Even if people don't like you or don't like me or don't like anyone for who they are, just be yourself. You know, believe me, there's a lot of people that don't like me either, especially
Oh, I
Democrats.
get told off all the time and they act like they're gonna hurt my feelings. You know what I tell them? I say, look, okay. I was married to a narcissist for 10 years. There's nothing you can say to me that I hadn't already been called or yelled at or spoke about. So we can move past that and let's just get to the nitty gritty and move past it. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care. I don't care. And I had to come to that point. I don't care if you don't like me because I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. That's a you problem. That's a you freaking problem. Cause I'm good today. Country's good. Country's good with herself. I've done right by people and I can lay down and not lay my head because you know what? I am here on a temporary basis. This is not my home. My home is in heaven, and I have a mansion waiting for me. And I have my family waiting for me that I've lost. So I'm just passing through here until the good Lord wants to take me home. And that is the way I view things. That is the way I view things. Yes, death is hard. Losing a loved one is terrible. But isn't it such a beautiful thing knowing, hey, that's not the end? We will see them again one day. And that's what I hold to my heart. That's what I hold to my heart. That's just
Well, country, your story is not a story of misery; it's a story of beauty, to be honest. And like I said, you could write a book on this. I mean,
I almost did. I started writing a book about my life because I could probably write a series. I ain't lying. Um, from the time I was a little girl up. I had a stepfather. I had to sleep. This is why I kind of got involved in talking about DHS and stuff like that because I know how the system was back then. This was like in the 80s, I believe. And the system's broken. The system is completely broken because I had a stepfather who tried to molest me on the weekends when I'd go stay at my mom's. And the way the DCS fixed that was they sent him away for 2 weeks, made him take some kind of class, and then he could come back. But you know how I had to deal with it? I had to sleep with a padlock on the inside of my bedroom door. On the inside of my bedroom door. This man took the doorknobs off every door in the house. DCS came in, inspected the house, saw that this was going on, took the doorknobs off. We couldn't lock the doors. We couldn't have any privacy, you see. When we thought we were having privacy, we weren't. And then when we finally moved away, when he left, my mom and him split up, we moved out. He had drilled holes in the closet that was adjacent in front of the bathroom so he could watch me and my sisters for years.
are you kidding me?
No. And DCS didn't know about that part, but they knew the doors were off the fucking the doorknobs were off. And there was other things here or there, but then they did nothing. They did nothing. Their way of taking care of things was I'm going to send you here. And then they don't even vet the people they're placing children in today. We got over 300 and something thousand children that's come across the border that is missing. Are you kidding me? And they can't tell us where they're at.
I don't. The whole thing is a complete disaster. I mean,
I agree with you.
I'm in northern Arizona, and I believe the panel knows that too. But between
Hmm.
southern Arizona and northern Arizona, it's actually two different places. Um, there's a lot of wildlife up here. The unless you're unless you have some sort of a structure like a home, um,
Right.
the environmental conditions are real bad. It's either real hot or real cold, or you get struck by lightning, which actually came through last night.
Well, you ain't got
But
struck before, have you?
no, not yet.
No, no,
Yeah,
it's not funny. I know it's not funny, but just the way you said it was funny.
yeah. No, that one hasn't. I did one time though, when I was in the military. My jet did get hit by lightning, but we have lightning protection on the jet, so
Oh,
um,
okay.
it knocked out all my avionics. I got them back up, and everything was fine. But um, the it's like what's happening with these children. I just
I can't
they're
believe it. I mean, I can't
yeah.
believe it. I mean, just it's disgusting, and they know what's
It,
going on.
even if you take the illegal immigration out of it, these people they're like this doesn't get reported on the news, but they try to like the cartels drop them off and they try
Hmm.
walk and then some sheriff in some county somewhere in middle Arizona or on the south side of my county, they find all these unalived families. And it's not well, it was either wildlife or like dehydration.
Hmm.
I'm just like even the illegal immigrants. I have compassion for them because I'm like, if you don't get on a bus and you try to make it up to the north, again, where I'm from or where I'm
Hmm.
at right now, you're probably on foot. You're probably not going to make it.
That's crazy. But they they lost these kids. They didn't lose them. I mean, that's unaccounted for. They have 303,000 that have been unaccounted for. Let that sink in. 303,000 children that have been unaccounted for. I mean, I remember we saw when the border first was open, there was a video I saw to where there was a man sitting outside. The bus pulled up, had kids come off, and it was supposed to be a processing center in Texas. And a guy was sitting outside like an Uber and 5 kids, 3 girls, 2 boys. He was putting them in the car. And there was a reporter, I don't remember which reporter it was, that actually went up banging on that car, wanting to know where those kids were going. Why were you taking these kids? They don't have to answer nobody. They don't have to answer nobody. And they took off with these kids. There was a house not too long ago. There was a family. Well, when a family, it was 2 women, 2 men, I mean, I believe it's 6 or 7 kids, maybe 8 kids. And there was like 2 or 3 newborns that were their babies that were in a basement where you couldn't even stand up in this basement. That's where they lived.
Mm.
And the homeowner had them down there. What I think was going on, I think you got the 2 women that take care of the kids. You got the 2 men that are cartels, or they're 2 men who work for the cartel, and they have a way because human trafficking is trillions of dollars. It is outsourced the complete drug money making. Think about that. Drugs used to be really the problem of how they were selling and making money, or even arms for that matter, weapons.
Yeah. Yep.
Now it is human beings. It is children. If you guys seen half of the videos that I have sat and watched and what they do to these kids, how they do this to these kids, I physically got ill the first time I saw it. And a lot of people, when I post certain stories about things, of course, they get banned or people say, I just I don't want to see that. I know I didn't want to see it either. I didn't want to see it either. But you have to see it. You have to, honestly, sometimes it's the shock effect that only gets to people to where this is really going on. I've got them on my Telegram, if you go all the way back to the beginning. Um, there's some bad people out there. When Trump says that there's bad people out there, evil people out there, there's some bad and there's some evil people out there. And people ask, well, why do you support Trump? Well, out of anything, if I didn't agree with anything that he ever did, which I do agree with so many policies, him fighting for human trafficking these kids would be enough for me after the things I've seen. I won't describe what I've seen because it's so horrible. It's so horrific. If you've seen it, there would be a fire lit underneath you and you would use your voice. And that's actually, I think, when I started, instead of doing beauty videos and makeup and dancing and stuff like that, I ended up doing politics. And I was like, this is what I got to do now.
You are totally right, and I tell you what, country, when you get if like basically what you're saying is that like you get exposure to what the world is really like, um, it's actually a pretty sick place. It
It
sucks.
is.
I hate to admit that, but how bad people can be to one another, especially with the children. Um, it's terrible. Um, I don't. I'll never understand it.
Because it's evil. It's because Satan. People have for so long, if you're good people, and we live in a world where we are always going about our day, we're not harming anyone, we're abiding by the law abiding citizens, we're taking care of our families, we go to our family functions, stuff like that. We live in a world where we don't see that. They've hid it for so long. We don't see it. Um, you might hear about something every, now and then here or there, but you ever wonder why they keep all of that so quiet? Because they're all involved in it. You got your elites that are so involved in it. It is such sadistic, satanic, horrible things that go on. But you got to always remember where we have good, as much good as you see in the world, as much good as you feel, as much happiness and good that you feel with your family and get togethers and stuff, you got to flip that. There's just as much evil and evil thoughts and evil doers and evil ways, if not more so, because Satan is running rampant. He's running rampant right now. He knows his time is very short. So he is going to be in high gear and he's going to use what better thing than to use people that are higher up in government, people who have billions of dollars, people who have an endless supply of money and ways and means to do this to kids. But what better way than use America, which America is the number one human trafficking source, period. And that's sad. But why? Because we have greedy people in our government. We have evil people in our government that the organ harvesting, that's real. That's real. They'll take a 2-year-old, throw her on the table, and take what they need and discard them. They call them throwaways. Period. And that is what they do. That's what it needs to be about. The kids are innocent. Satan wants to get to the innocent more than he does anything else. He's here to steal, kill, and destroy. It's that simple. He's here to steal, kill, and destroy. Period.
Yeah. So exactly. And you never know what's going on around you. I'll give you an example. About 5 miles from my place, there's this compound out there. I don't know what those people are. The sheriffs are out there like once a week, and I can see them because they have like their in the when it's nighttime here, like there's no street lights, there's no anything. So when a sheriff comes out, you can see like the lights flashing. I don't know if it's a religious compound or what, but they're out there like once a week. And
Absolutely.
I so badly want to like engage, but I'm like, all right, the cops are dealing with it. There's something up there. Um, I don't know if it's a Koresh type compound or anybody who's Mormon. I'm not. Don't take offense to this. Like a more like because we do have a Mormon population. Why? Shit, I
I
shouldn't
get
go
I
there.
get your I get your point. It's like a compound of religious people that of some denomination. We'll just say that.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So the cops are out there about once a week. I don't know what the heck's going on out there. My neighbors and I talk about it, and they're like, "Well, we don't know either."
Well, do they ever bring anybody out?
Well, we don't see. Here's the problem: they don't disturb us. They
So
don't
you don't
bother
disturb
us.
them.
Yeah, they keep to themselves, but the sheriffs are always out there.
Well, they're
So
probably doing welfare checks and probably doing home checks because the government doesn't like it if you don't let them know everything about you. That's like, okay, let's take the social security numbers that are just miraculously, what was it, 2.9 billion that, or million got, billion that got released in 3 countries, including the United States as part of that. Your information, your passwords, all of your personal information got sold and got leaked. Well, the guy who owns that is an actor. The MPD, he is an actor, and of the form that he collects all this data and everything. A director, a writer, um, and out of that, it was really only, get this, it was like only 2.7 million social security numbers that really got leaked out of all of that. Most of the other ones were deceased, but they still had a social security number.
right, you,
So
you know,
they
go
said, well,
go.
maybe this is a good thing because see now they said that if you could, this is a way to clean your credit, find out what's on it, whatever. And then now they are able to completely get rid of the ones that are deceased, had a social security number attached to it, and done. Now, I find it interesting that this all has come about this close to election, is what I find interesting about it. And we have an open border and we have millions of people coming through. What do they do with those social security numbers of the deceased people? Do they just leave them like they should, not usable again? Or is there something nefarious other going on here to where they will use those numbers to give to illegal immigrants?
Right.
You know,
Well,
that
that's
is
a
a
great
question.
question. That's a great question. Actually, since you brought that up, I did this about a year ago, but I was thinking about it because
Right.
my children have social security numbers. I I do Experian.com and you can actually lock like credit checks and whatnot. Um,
Right.
so I locked them up. Not locked them up, like I locked their socials up because I don't want anybody getting a hold of my kids' socials, you know?
Absolutely. But that's the way the world is. I wanted to play. I have a couple of videos. Thank you guys for sticking it out, guys. We got almost 50 people on YouTube. We've got about 60 people on X. You guys, I appreciate it. Please follow, like, and share and get it out. But here is, let's see. Here, let's listen to this gentleman. He speaks a lot about the Democrats.
Look, Democrats, make sure before you say somebody racist, we can't go look them up and see that he was on the Soul Train line.
Young dope dealer selling dope, is you like that? Kicking doors, kicking in doors, is you like that? Young throw nigga selling lows, is
I
you
didn't
like
even
that?
know Trump get down like that. You gotta give me something when we ran the presidential election. You gotta give me something. We gotta see something up in that bitch. We gonna be doing a Trump in that bitch. Hey, man, don't let these people keep lying to you, man. He racist, but yet he the only one that got a video on the Soul Train line. Stop the madness.
Oh, he's so funny. You guys, we're gonna hear some people's voices. Let's hear this gentleman's voice.
So South Carolina's Department of Public Health just released that 15,000 people have recently tested positive for HIV. And this is including children and teenagers. That is some very, very disturbing news. And it goes to show you that children and teenagers are very sexually active. They're not using protection. And it's scary to think that this is going to be a problem. Kids should be having different type of problems, not sex related health problems. Children and teens should be falling off bikes and scraping their knees and, you know, coming home telling mom about a bully, not coming home and saying, damn, I tested positive for HIV. It's crazy. We have to, listen, if you have children, please monitor what they're doing. And adults, y'all should just know better. Use protection, or at least if you're gonna have sex with someone, you both go get tested together. Nobody's asking questions. Everybody just wants to hump and ask no questions. It's like, this is the consequences of having unprotected sex. You can catch things, and some things you catch cannot be cured. 15,000, bro. That's a lot of people. And just think about the people who tested positive, who still are going to sleep with people without protection and not tell them. Happens all the time. People don't say nothing. They don't say nothing. They feel fine, so they good. That's how people think. Be careful out here, man. It's getting bad.
That's true. Lee says that studies show that HIV or AIDS as immunity deficiency is found in the COVID-19 vaccine. It's destroying the immunity gland. I have seen reports of that myself and seen it. Lee, thank you for that. But it's true, the morals and the values that, okay, my parents instilled in me, what instilled in them, they're long gone. My mom is still here. My dad left in 2007. And I'm thankful today for how they raised me, to have morals and values, and they kept me in church. They kept me in church. And by them doing that for me, I did that for my children. And that's a way that you pass along that to the generations to come. And of course, when I was younger, I didn't see it that way. Um, but now that I'm older, I thank God every day. I wish I had had more time with my father to sit, and read the Bible with him. I remember when he and my mother were together, things were good when they were together, but whenever they split up, that's when everything went to shit. he didn't know how to deal with losing my mother. And so he turned to the bottle. But we had Bible study every night when they were together, and I learned a lot. We used to go, this was back then when you do witnessing. We'd go to church and they'd have these things, how many people could, soul winning. It was soul winning meetings. And this was a time when you would actually go out door to door, knock on the doors, ask them if they knew the Lord Jesus Christ as their personal Savior. And if they didn't, you asked them if they would like to. And then we would go in and sit and talk with them. And there were times there was one time my dad did knock on the door and a man came out with a shotgun and said, "Get the hell off my property." So we did leave. But he had faith and he said God is protecting him. I didn't understand all this. I was so young and I finally understood it until I did understand it. That's the life we had back then, And if you teach your children and you teach them right, they grow up as God says, they will not depart from thee. And or from me. And they won't. They won't. But the way the world is today, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take the Christianity out of the Ten Commandments and God out of the schools. Now they're starting to try to bring it back. Um, you cannot ever, I can't stress this enough, you will not ever have the life that you're meant to have and be who you are really meant to be until you put God first in your life. And it's that simple. And it took me a long time to realize that until, hurt myself and hurt others. And then finally you're like, wait a minute, maybe there's something to this. And, you got to teach your kid, hey, it's our responsibility as parents. God gave us that gift of children, the ones who wanted the children. And even if you didn't plan it, it was a gift from God that he gave you. That's why I'm totally against abortion, period. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
you know,
I agree.
that's just a topic that Democrats and Republicans, it will continuously go back and forth. And it's not about sex. That's right, Tanya. It's not about sex. It's how many of them are citizens. Um, but see, you've got different cultures that we got coming through the border. Those cultures are going to bleed into a figure of speech. They're going to bleed into America, and people are going to meet these people, and they may have relationships with them, and they're going to take on their culture. And it's just, he's right. They just want to go out and hump all the time, and that's it. No consequence, no nothing. And a lot of women do use abortion as birth control. I went to school with a girl who had 6 abortions. This was back in the 90s. And it was a form of birth control. You know what happens, and then they're not teaching it. I don't know. Are they not teaching it in school anymore? How you get pregnant? Are they not teaching that anymore? Or are they just teaching flat out CRT or what? I mean, you know how you get pregnant. You know how a woman gets pregnant. You know how a man gets a woman pregnant. Okay. If you know that happens, then protect yourself. Protect yourself. Why take that chance of diseases and everything? Just protect yourself. You can still have the fun you want. Just take that one moment to protect yourself. Period. That's it. That's it. But you don't
Yeah.
want to do that.
It's really not. It's not really that hard. I mean, you know, it's just what you're saying, country. I mean, it's just like that video you showed. It's just it's dangerous. All of
It
it is
is.
dangerous. Everything is
It's not
dangerous
just about getting pregnant anymore. It's about catching all kinds of diseases, and we don't know what other kind of diseases we've never heard of before. It's coming across that border.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't know. All right, do these kids have polio? I mean, maybe not kids, maybe the parents, whatever, however we want to call it. They have polio. You know, I mean, did they get an MMR vax? I mean, I'm so frustrated with
Mhm.
this whole border thing because I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it. Whether it was Iraq, Afghanistan, Somalia, Djibouti, whatever. I mean, it's it's I'm trying to be polite. It's a different world out there. And I don't think Americans understand what, not you and not your panel. I don't think Americans really understand what they're getting themselves into, because it is a dangerous, dangerous world. I guess that's all I can say. And it's a
You're
weird
absolutely
world.
right. You're right. It's gone crazy. Well, let's get a little weirder. Pelosi, it's a 22-second clip. She's talking to this news lady.
They didn't know what they were talking about. We know we're different from the presidential. We're very discreet, reptilian, cold-blooded. These are the races we have to win. Others are winning the whole country. 10. What?
I never understand half of what she ever says, truthfully. I just sit there and just watch her. She's hilarious to watch. It's like Saturday Night Live at best. But with our final discussion and topic, Act Blue. Act Blue is part of the DNC. It's where the donations come in. If you're a Democrat and you want to donate, you donate. Let's say you donate $20, and you've done it $20 a month, automatically set up to come out of your account every month. $20 a month. You pay to the Act Blue. That Blue takes and puts the donation, or puts it towards the candidate in which you did. Let's say the Harris election. Let's say that you're doing that. Let's say you're sending $25 to Act Blue, and it's going to go to her fund. Okay. Well, the thing is, what has been going on is Act Blue, once you donate and it's coming out regularly, it takes your name and it adds money under your name, okay? Up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, he went undercover recently. This is a 13-minute segment. It will be shown in 2 separate videos. Some have seen it, some haven't. But he's went undercover, and he has been strongly staying with this. He first uncovered it about a year and a half ago, and found out the names of all these people and everything. Well, when you hear Kamala Harris and her little Oompa Loompa that she's got running around with her, come up and say, hey, we made $36 million in donations in 24 hours. This is how they're doing it. This is how they're getting the money. They want to give you a false pretense of a mindset of thinking that people really like them this much that they're willing to give them this kind of money. They are laundering money. That is exactly what they're doing. So take a moment and watch.
Let's get our wristband to get inside them. Yeah, right. Here we go. Going inside the demo. We were going to use actblue.com to make the donation. If we could maybe have that money transferred through all these different people to make more of an impact, because it seems like that's what you guys are doing.
Yeah. So any questions you have, you can send to support.
Have you heard of James O'Keefe? O'Keefe Media?
I have. I'm in the code too.
Hi. How you doing?
Can we leave out?
What's the issue? What's the issue?
You guys seem to be harassing her. She asked for help.
Well, how am I harassing her? Are you gonna? Can I ask you some questions? Are you going to vote for Harris?
All right.
Notice how as soon as I started asking them questions, they ran away. This is the new technique. I'll just ask questions. People run away. Undercover at the DNC convention as a Kamala Harris supporter, I wanted to find out what was going on. I stumbled upon Dempalooza, where Act Blue had a booth set up. Here is how it went.
We are literally the facilitator of this digital platform. So you go into Act Blue, donate through us, it goes to the campaign. So we have campaigns, state parties, county parties, C3s, C4s, like pretty much the entire kind of ecosystem of people and organizations.
Yeah.
So it's busier in the morning for sure.
Yeah. All right. What time's ice cream?
11 to 1.
Did you guys hear that?
I heard it.
11 to 1.
Make sure to stop by.
How much do I get? Do I get one scoop or 2 scoops?
I'm pretty sure they're like packages, right? Yeah, little package. Yeah.
About to get a wristband to get inside Dempalooza.
Hello.
Thank you.
How are you?
Yeah, very good.
I'm good.
You're all set.
All right, thank you. Here we go.
Good morning.
Well, here we go. The market has plunged again. The writing is on the wall. It's time to take action. The elites and big banks are pulling the strings, creating financial chaos to strip you of your wealth. Don't let them win. Call my friends at Bishop Gold Group right now. They'll help you shield your assets with gold and silver, the ultimate fortress against this financial tyranny. Act now before it's too late. Protect your future, protect your freedom, protect your retirement. I'll put the link and phone number in my bio so you can get a hold of them anytime.
Oh, I love the coat. I thought it was the Dodgers for a second.
I know, isn't this a great coat? I'm speaking. You like that coat?
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
Xander. Nice to meet you.
Jamie, nice to see you. So we heard you guys are having ice cream?
I've been at 11.
Tell them about our company.
So we came by yesterday and we talked to Jose. Last night we got to shake Obama's hand. They let us go backstage, which was cool.
We got to shake Obama's hand last night. And we were kind of on the precipice of whether we should get involved, you know, but with all the energy and everything. So we're partners. But
in
also
life and
in life and in business. And you know, we want to get more involved, and
we're interested in donating. Then yesterday we were like, okay, we're all in. Which was cool. We met Obama and that was cool. So
That's very cool. Well, if you wanted to donate to the Harris campaign.
Yeah, how does that work specifically? I just told them I want to donate, but because you can donate to Senate races and so forth, right?
Yeah, so any campaign organization that is running as a Democrat or progressive has the opportunity to be on ActBlue. And so if there's anyone in particular, you can Google them, find their link, and you just donate. It's a secure payment processing.
What's like the max someone's ever donated?
Oh, well,
it's probably, I don't, maybe you don't know.
Say the state and local and federal, everyone has different limits. So you can look up the federal or state and local campaign limits for the specific area you're thinking.
We're excited about the energy. I was on the fence, but after last night, I'm ready to do it. So I guess we'll just go on the website. I mean, what do you think? Should we do it through the company or?
I think probably through the company would be best.
Capital.
And your name was?
Carolyn.
Well, I'm all on social media, and Elon, I mean, I don't know why he's become so partisan, like with X, I don't get it. But I was on X, and he shared something about...
I think it was about ActBlue.
Elon posted they were putting money in the names of other people or something like that.
That is not based...
With the FEC, website?
Yeah, everything is... Everyone has to donate, and everything is put all their information.
Yeah, because it said that the FEC website had hundreds of donations in the name of a specific person. Have you heard of that?
No, I don't. That's not based on. I'm gonna grab. If you have specific questions, I can grab our director of different departments. But that is all based in
lies.
Of falsities.
Falsities. Yeah, I mean, I figured it was disinformation.
Yeah.
It was just I don't know. I didn't know what the answer to that was because I want to make sure that when we donate, it's on the up and up.
Yeah.
So
you got to put in all the information.
Is that person here? Is that someone's here now, or?
Just give me a second.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Hi, Jamie. How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for stopping by. You guys are just hanging out. You're all decked out.
Yeah. Thank you.
You like the jacket?
The whole getup is. I have that shirt.
You have the shirt?
I do have that shirt.
Yeah.
I do have that shirt.
We were going to ask about donating, and specifically with the FEC website, it said that there were all these people that had donated through one person hundreds of times, and we just wanted to ask about that.
I can connect you with our comms director.
We were going to use ActBlue.com to make the donation, but we were wondering if it's possible for our donation to go through, because we want it to be most effective, if we could maybe have that money transferred through all these different people to make more of an impact, because it seems like that's what you guys are doing.
Yeah. So any questions you have, you can send to support.
Have you heard of James O'Keefe, O'Keefe Media.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through.
Hi. Can you answer our questions? Ma'am? Ma'am, why does the FEC website show that money is being used for those purposes? I mean, hundreds of donations through one person. Carolyn? Is that your name? It's what your name badge said. Hi, do you guys work with Act Blue? Then why are you sitting in an Act Blue table?
Friendship bracelets?
Oh, friendship bracelets. Have you heard about this scandal involving FEC contributions that go through Act Blue? The Act Blue put a statement out saying it's a disinformation campaign, that all these donations are going through the names of other people. Have you heard about this? Well, Act Blue's talking about it. This FEC website shows so many donations. Hi. How are you? Nice to see you. Are you with Act Blue? Here she comes with it. She went over there. Let's talk to them. Hi, I'm James O'Keefe. Hi. You guys take pictures of me. I don't know why you do that, but I'm taking pictures of you. We like taking pictures. We love pictures. And they're running away. They like to run. They like to walk away. They like to run away. Come on. Hey, Carolyn. Why did you lie and say your name wasn't Carolyn?
You just heard.
Carolyn? Is that your name?
No.
This is your statement. The promoters of this disinformation campaign. What is disinformation about the FEC website? Carolyn.
Hey, fellas.
How you doing?
Can we leave out?
What's the issue? What's the issue?
You guys seem to be harassing her. She asked for help.
How am I harassing her? In today's rapidly evolving healthcare landscape and mysterious shortages of medical supplies, being proactive about your health is paramount. That's why our OMG supporters, The Wellness Company, is proud to introduce the ultimate first aid emergency kit, meticulously crafted by its chief medical board to support life-saving readiness. When my team and I are out in the field, we always carry our TWC first aid emergency kit because in an emergency, every second counts. The upgraded kit includes essential items like epinephrine for anaphylactic reactions, several common prescription medications, and many vital first aid supplies. Additionally, it features a comprehensive first aid emergency guidebook with over 40 pages of life-saving information. And you can easily replenish your supply at any time. Every kit purchased is eligible for medication replenishments for up to 2 years after purchase. Order your first aid kit now and save 15% by using code OMG for a savings of $60 and savings of over $100 when paired with a purchase of the medical emergency kit. Whether it's ensuring access to medications, personal protective equipment, or other essentials, our commitment is to empower individuals to take control of their health journey. So order your first aid emergency kit now by going to twc.health/OMG. That's twc.health/OMG. That's twc.health/OMG.
Well, you guys are following her around.
Well, we asked
I'm currently by Home Depot.
We asked
Mike.
a few questions.
Who's Mike?
Who's Mike?
I can't be following people around here.
Okay, we just asked a few questions.
Yeah, but if she wasn't answering, why are you following her?
Because there's money laundering occurring on the FEC website.
Okay.
Serious issues. And we're trying to get to the bottom of it. We have a right to be here.
Yeah, but you don't have a right to harass people though.
Did y'all do that yesterday?
When you say,
did we go through that yesterday with y'all?
No. When you say harassment, what are we talking about? What do you mean by harassment?
You guys do have a right to be here, but you don't have the right to harass people.
Now, I will challenge you all the way to the Supreme Court if you tell me I'm harassing someone by asking. Right now, you're harassing me because I don't want to be stopped.
Sir, how you doing?
How you doing? I'm James. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you, James. What's going on? How can I help you?
Nothing. I don't need any help at all. How can I help you? We're basically trying to get some answers to this question about money laundering with the Act Blue, with the people's names being put on the FEC website thousands and thousands of times. It's a very serious issue, and the public have a right to know. That's what's going on.
Understood.
So respectfully, if they don't want to answer your questions, I would just appreciate that you not follow them, because that's what we were called for.
If you're following them, we're going to have to escort you off the property.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. I understand.
All right.
May I walk up there again and ask another question?
Not
to
if she
the
doesn't want to
same
answer.
person?
It's the same person. As long as they don't want to answer the question, though, I would just ask that you respectfully move on.
But if we would define move on, like how many seconds?
As in,
Is
if
it 5 seconds?
If they're just not answering,
You seem like a relatively intelligent person. We don't need to do
You
the
think I'm
semantics.
intelligent? I appreciate that.
We don't need to do the semantics.
I want to understand how you define harassment.
So to help you understand, I observed.
We defined it for you.
Do you like the T-shirt?
So as it relates
We're just
to,
asking that
Do you like the T-shirt?
Yes, we're just asking that if they don't want to answer questions, you move on. That's
Are you
all I'm
going? Can I ask you some questions?
Nope.
No.
Are you going to vote for Harris?
All right.
No,
Y'all have a good one.
as soon as I started asking them questions, they ran away. This is the new technique. I'll just ask questions. People run away. Where is the vasectomy?
Oh, I do not know where the. Oh, actually, it's Wednesday. It was only Monday,
It was
Tuesday.
not the vasectomy tent is not today.
Monday, Tuesday.
Is it I was interested in getting a vasectomy. I was looking forward to that. Next time. The moment we talked to the people in yellow, and we said, "Who are you voting for?" They ran out of there. They ran so fast. But James O'Keefe here in Chicago, walking outside of the Demopalooza convention in full disguise, completely unrecognized. They had no idea who I was until we took off the disguise, took off the mask, and then they realized, and then it was too late, and there was nothing they could do. Reporting from Chicago, this is James O'Keefe, dressed like a Kamala Harris supporter, Chicago, Illinois, with OMG. Stay tuned.
The donations were a total of $16,000. Does that sound about right?
No. I'm not
Okay.
rich. I don't give that kind of,
Sure.
any kind of money.
A common thread amongst the victims was that they were surprised their names and information were being used by Act Blue. But Janice did not seem to care.
I don't want to dispute Act Blue. I don't want to help the Republicans in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Well, the Republicans have done enough dishonest shit, so if we've gotten by with that much money, I say hell yes.
12,000 in donations. Does that sound right? Owners can say-
money, maybe?
Exactly.
Many citizen journalists are starting to investigate Act Blue on their own. An undercover citizen journalist met with several elderly citizens who donated to Act Blue in Texas, in Burnett County and Stevens County. This report comes on the heels of 2 elderly citizens in Montgomery County, which generated a response from the sheriff's office there after they said they didn't make these donations and received refunds from Act Blue. We've learned the Attorney General of Texas is now looking into the matter. And now, dozens and dozens of more citizen journalists are reaching out to O'Keefe Media Group with tapes. The Texas AG's office has issued a civil investigative demand after the O'Keefe Media Group investigation and put out a press release saying that Act Blue has cooperated with their ongoing investigation, changing their requirements to now include CVV codes on the credit card. In our most recent publication featuring Act Blue in Texas, we referenced an article that was sent to us by Current Revolt. The article claimed a source that information at the first assistant Brent Webster in the Texas AG's office had been sitting on the Act Blue investigation. We spoke with Brent Webster. Here is his response. Quote, "Any allegation that I have undercut our investigation into Act Blue is ludicrous, particularly given that I urged our office to initiate the investigation in the first place. I have dedicated substantial resources to this investigation, including some of our office's most talented lawyers. This ongoing investigation has been very productive. We do not comment on the status of pending investigations, but we will make every effort to enforce Texas law when it is being violated, as we have consistently done during my time at the Office of the Attorney General." The first victim was Janice Bosco in Horseshoe Bay, Texas. When our citizen journalist asked if Janice had indeed made over 648 donations totaling around $16,000, Janice laughed and promptly stated, "No, I don't believe that many donations."
I'm looking for Miss Janice Bosco.
It's me.
Janice, there were 648 donations made in your name to a super PAC. It's a election committee called Act Blue.
Right.
The donations were a total of $16,000. Does that sound about right?
No. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Harris supporter. I'm not rich. I don't give that kind of, any kind of money.
Janice Bosco seemed to be okay with Act Blue using her name for more donations than she actually gave. Janice stated, quote, "I don't want to help the Republicans in any way, shape, or form."
I don't want to dispute Act Blue. I don't want to be help the Republicans in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Well, the Republicans have done enough dishonest shit, so if we've gotten by with that much money, I say hell yes.
A common thread amongst the victims was that they were surprised their names and information were being used by Act Blue. But Janice did not seem to care.
If there is some type of funny business going on, would you be able to contact me? I mean, if you looked through your or it just doesn't matter.
I wouldn't have any idea how I would go about doing that. I'm not going to. I'm a horrible record keeper.
Now meet Karen Robertson's husband. They live in Killeen, Bell County, Texas. Let's see what Karen Robertson's husband has to say about these donations, said to be made in his wife's name.
Over 600 donations that were submitted in Karen Robertson's name to Act Blue.
600?
It amounted to over 12,000 in donations. Does that sound right? To Act Blue?
Act Blue maybe once a month.
Karen's husband was taken aback by these numbers, saying that's weird, and she's given them some, but not that amount. Something is wrong.
Do you think there maybe could have been some type of fraud then? Because
that's weird.
I wanted to just ask her if it sounds about right where she donated that amount of money. No. Okay.
She's given them some, but that's it. I mean, not $12,000.
Not $12,000. What, sir? What do you think it's in the realm of?
That she's given?
Yeah, like fully.
$25 a month.
For how long?
A year, maybe.
Okay, so we're talking nowhere near 12 grand.
$300. Something's wrong. We haven't given that much.
It's around about 12,000 in donations over 600 times.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's not only fraud, but there could be other things,
Way to go, Democrats.
Yeah, money laundering or something like that.
Another potential victim's husband that our citizen journalist spoke with is the husband of Margaret Kaler, who had an astonishing amount of over 5,000 donations totaling around $136,000. Not that much money, Margaret's husband exclaims.
Margaret Kaler.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a hold of her because there was over 5,000 donations submitted in her name to a super PAC called Act Blue, which is
some time ago.
Yeah, it was about $136,000, sir. Does that sound right at all to you?
Not that much money, but she used to give a lot. She's dementia now.
When you say a lot, what exact like what do you like? Is 20,000, 30,000, or is 100,000 too much?
100,000. Over several years.
I
don't think in 1 year.
Right. Okay. So I believe that it is, within a fiscal year, which would have been 23, the fiscal 23 year, or 2023 fiscal year.
Not in 23.
Okay.
Margaret's husband took the words right out of our mouth.
Yeah,
the donors can say
money, maybe?
Exactly.
That's what we're wondering. And then you have people who do this.
Wanted to speak to Susan. I see that she has some sizable donations. Are you familiar with Act Blue?
No, it's okay. I'm busy right now. Thanks.
Okay.
We need your help with this ongoing investigation. We'd like to know, after the Act Blue group claims that they've changed the CVV numbers, is this still happening after February of 2024? We believe it is. To be considered to have OMG publish your story and get paid, you'll need to present accurate information both to the potential victim on video and to O'Keefe Media of data from this year. 2024, which clearly shows anomalies and excessive, unrealistic donations. We also need the bank statements with redacted personal information from the donors showing proof that they did not make these excessive donations. Citizen journalists should ask the donors to call Act Blue and say that you're recording the call. Their number is 617-517-7600, and they should dispute the fraudulent transactions that have been made in their name and ask for clarification. Follow these steps and O'Keefe Media will publish your story. You can get paid, and we can get to the bottom of this Act Blue investigation together.
And there you have it, folks. So see, whenever Kamala Harris states, oh, we made $36 million in 24 hours. Oh, I made the most in 24 hours in history. They're laundering money. And you're right, Lee. This was connected to FTX, which was that sucker. I think that was last year, where millions of dollars were stolen from people. Well, this is connected to it, as well as his company was connected to Ukraine. See, he would send money to Ukraine, and it would funnel around and come back through because, see, FTX, his mom was on the WEF board, his dad as well. I believe he had an uncle as well that was on it. True to Vote. They're the ones who actually started True to Vote. And then all of this money keeps getting funneled. And did you know, if you do your research, you can find out. I could show you, but once you research it, surprise yourself. You can find out there's so many Republicans and Democrats that have gotten 20, 30, 40, 50, and on up millions of dollars from this. From this. It is money laundering. She has not got the people. She's paying people. Think about it. They have set billions of dollars. You got George Soros that has donated so much money, and he's part of the whole DNC. He put that show on. He funds it. The abortion RV out front with vasectomies. His hands are all in it. They use the money. They figured out a way to launder it. They print the hell out of money and send to Ukraine. But FTX's company was connected to it, and the money come back. It's just an ending cycle. Period. They had to have a way to funnel it. All this money you got going to Ukraine, then they're laundering it. It is a total mess. It is a mess.
You know, I'll tell you something right now. I mean, you know, you brought up Act Blue. You and I have talked about that in the past.
Right.
Like,
that's right, Alan Girl. Sam
I don't know if the Democrats, like let's take a TikTok live. I don't know that they understand this, like what you just showed, and you know, and your show right here. But I don't, and I'm to the point. It's so frustrating because it's like, no, this is actually happening.
It is.
But they were, I mean, I don't even know what to say. You know, I mean,
it's very sobering, you know, to a lot of people probably are watching it, which we've got quite a few people watching on X and
good
on
deal.
YouTube.
Good.
They if you don't really know what Act Blue is, it is what I was trying to tell you. Look it up. If you're a Democrat and you've probably been donating to it for a very long time, and you know, this could actually hurt you by them using your name and donating like that, because there's a lot of people, as you saw, that are older, and you see how they prey on the elderly. They prey on the elderly. But there was one lady who was a nurse on a different video, and one woman that worked at a convenience store, and she had donated over $40,000 in 1 year. She said she donated $5. $5.
Yeah, I don't. It's like
now it's like they fixed the problem.
Right,
we'll put a CVV number.
It's right, yeah, the CCV number, the number on the back of your card, but it's like right here in front of you.
Exactly.
Not you, country, but it's like
right
here in front of you, and it's like, what else? What more can we say about this?
Well, that's why it's picking up steam. It's picking up speed. Um, if we, the people, and that's why we say what we say, and we do these. That's why I do this podcast. That's why I do the lives, because we get the truth out there. We can get our country on the right track. We get the truth out there and expose this evil, expose the theft, expose this shit. And we continually talk about, if you have one person like James O'Keefe, he's pretty good, big guy, but let's just say he wasn't, and he come across the story and he posted it. It takes every single person on social media that wants the country to do better and wants it to revert to a better place for your kids, your grandkids. I'm 51. Let's say God gives me a blessing of 10, 15, 20 more years, okay? After that 20 years, I'll be gone, okay? Let's just say that. I could be gone tomorrow. I could be gone tonight. I don't know when. He knows when. I don't know when. But let's just say it's 20 years from now. I'll be 71. Let's just say I die. I'll have kids. I'll have grandkids. And they'll have kids probably by then. Then that means the next generation. Don't you want to leave something good behind for them? Don't you want them to live in an America that has morals, values, has law and order, and has freedoms, and our
Absolutely.
Constitution still intact?
Absolutely, country. And I just, the funny thing is, this is not like you just showed the videos on your show. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is actually happening.
Yes.
And I don't, or if you want to vote for Kamala, who previously you wanted to vote for Biden, which was weird and undemocratic in my mind, or unconstitutional. DNC, they got their rules. All right, you got your person.
Right.
You got Harris now. Okay, but it's like you show it to them, and I don't know how to say it, but it's like beating a dead horse. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, I think once it picks up so much traction and it gets out there now, things, I mean, like you said, the AG sat on this, knew about it. That lets me know. And this is actually connected to Katie Hobbs. She was getting money from this company.
Yeah. Hobbs is definitely connected.
Yeah.
And she is our governor, who we never hear from. We don't even know where she is.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Arizonans are a little bit different, especially up here in the north. We don't really care about who the governor is, but we never hear or see Katie Hobbs.
Well, hopefully
I'll tell you this, country. Hobbs don't come up here to the north because she
probably knows better. She probably knows better.
The county doesn't like her. The sheriffs don't like her. The citizens don't like her. She can stay down there in Maricopa, in Phoenix. I don't even know if she leaves her house or her mansion or whatever.
The last time I saw her out in public, she was being chased by reporters, and they were asking her questions, and she had her little ponytail going and her little sweatpants on, and she was just running through there. And she didn't want to talk. She's like, I ain't answering no questions. I've noticed the Democrat Party, they don't answer questions. They don't answer shit.
Oh no, they don't. No, they're just. She's probably thinking, how am I gonna get Lake from Kerry Lake, from not getting elected to the Senate. I mean,
exactly. Who I mean, knows? Katie Hobbs. You think about it, Katie Hobbs. There's property that she has that has been bought by the cartel. Lee, you're right. They needed Arizona to keep the drugs and the cartels to come into our country and keep the elites rich. This is how they want to destroy our country. Infiltration. And that's what we were talking about. Yeah. That's right. Exactly what's going on.
That's right. And I'm telling you, as an Arizonan, we never hear from Katie Hobbs. Ever. I can
Well, I
look up.
mean, her first. Go ahead.
I can look up Arizona news. I can look up. She just like she got elected and then she disappeared.
She's a phantom. She's a phantom governor. You know how that works. She's a phantom governor. She is there by name, and she even certified her own election.
Yeah, you're right because she was a Secretary of State
Secretary of
and she
State.
certified her own fake vote.
Yeah, she did. She sure as hell did. I don't know. It's crazy. You want to hear from Katie Hobbs Rogue? At least she's gone rogue. Oh my
But
goodness.
I can't like I said, country. I can't tell you this. She
What?
won't come up to the north.
She probably afraid to. I don't know. I don't know nothing
No,
about Arizona. I know shit about Arizona.
We got a res here. There's a res about 30 miles from me, approximately. She will not come up to Flagstaff, Prescott, uh, all these other and some of the Williams. She won't come up here to the north. She won't because she knows it just wouldn't go well. I'll just say that.
It's like you got the boot. You got the boot. You got the boot. I was thinking, oh, did you know that the multiple Secret Service agents were put on leave? The whistleblowers are coming forward now. Hold on to your pants, people. It's being reported in the last few minutes that multiple United States Secret Service agents have been placed on leave. Yeah,
I did not know that. And the news is breaking every 10 minutes. So go ahead.
It is. It is. It sure is. Yeah, sure did. Sure as heck did. They know something. There's a lot of shit that's going down. They know something. And they're gonna come out. I mean, you can't hold the truth. You can't hold the truth back. It will happen. It will come out. There was a train derailment today in Boulder, Colorado. It was reportedly caused by fuel leaks into the Boulder Creek. Isn't it amazing? Every time a train uh collides or derails or anything, it's always by the water source. Think about that, people. It's by the water source. Why would it be by a water source?
I don't understand like all these accidents, like the stuff that's going on with Boeing and whatnot. I mean, all of it's just real. It's very strange. I mean,
Oh, I agree.
when that Alaska Airlines, which was a Boeing 73,
Yeah.
when the door like blew off, and then they said, well, we didn't put in 4 screws. I'm sitting here. As you know, I was a pilot. I mean, I still am, but I was. I'm like, how could you miss that? How do you not like? That would be to me like the way I look at that, and maybe that's my military going crazy in my
Right.
brain. But I'm like, that'd be like me saying, "Hey, why is there not a wing on the aircraft?" I mean, I don't even I'm just like, what has this world come to? How do you not? How do you forget 4 bolts on a pressurized door, which is the actually
Oh no, they
emergency
didn't
door?
just and then they shut one down because when they found out they've been using Dawn to grease the screws.
And I don't mean to get. I'm very passionate about aviation, but I'm
Right.
like, I just don't know how that could be missed. How could you
Well, it
miss
wasn't
something
missed.
like that?
They all getting paid. I was thinking one of them's getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Every one of them. That's what they do. That's how they do it. Here's a video of a meteorite last night that came down in Kentucky. see that? Crazy. Get
Where
crazy
was
things
that?
happen.
Where was that at?
That was in Kentucky. That was in Kentucky. A lot of
Okay.
crazy things happening in Kentucky lately. Bashir, isn't he the governor? Yeah, Andy Bashir. He's over Kentucky, I think. I think he's the one who's over that. A lot of crazy things going on. Um, yeah, Kamala's VP, Tim Walz, yesterday. He had a private meeting with Alex Soros. Wonder what they talked about.
Probably how to screw us over.
I'm sure
I
of
wasn't
it.
aware of that either.
Yeah, they had a private meeting yesterday. I can't tell you what actually they spoke about, but yeah, it was that was pretty crazy. But I don't know. But I
Hey,
want to
country,
thank
I,
you.
I wanted
Yeah,
to I wanted to read you something because I know you're getting ready to close up.
sure.
Your story though, that was very touching.
Oh, thank
You and
you.
I should probably talk more. Like I could narrate your book, but Romans 5:3-4.
Sure.
I wanted to read this to you. We also glory in tribulations, knowing that tribulation produces perseverance, and perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. Now, what does that mean? This verse means that when people go through hardship, they can learn how real their faith is. It also suggests that people can rejoice in their troubles because they know they can develop endurance, which can then lead to character and hope. This hope will not disappoint people because God's love has been poured into their hearts. I just wanted to share that verse with you because your story was incredible and I did not know that about I did not know your story. So I
I don't
appreciate you
talk
sharing.
much about my. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't talk about myself a lot. I listen to everything everybody else has to say. But I don't know why I got on that subject tonight. I have no idea. Maybe it's helped somebody. Reach out, message me, um, DM me on any of the platforms if you're struggling. I can. It's not me that can. I can maybe put you in the right direction, or maybe if you need an ear to listen, or if you just are looking for that hope, there is hope. Okay, there
And
is
you
hope
made it
no
through it.
matter.
You made it through it. And
Oh,
you're doing a fantastic job. And I just wanted to share that with you because when I heard that story, I thought of that verse. Or when I heard your
thank
story,
you.
I'm sorry, I thought of that verse. Your
Thank you so
perseverance
much.
has produced hope. And
Thank you.
the hope you probably created with a lot of people that may not be commenting right now, they heard you. So
That's maybe what God needed.
good on you,
He
girl.
needed me.
And I always love being your guest.
I love you being heard. You heard 5 of them so far. Faith grows stronger in darkness. It does, Lee. Yeah, I'm a very private person. I don't really talk about myself. Maybe I should. Maybe it would help other people because um I remember, maybe I needed to talk about it because I remember being in the rooms and they said you have to tell your story to be effective and for it to affect others and for them to know. But what I was saying earlier with the newcomer is most important that comes. I'll say this before I close, that they always said in the rooms in the NANA groups, they'd say the newcomers almost always the most important. So always, make them feel welcomed and stuff. And that never resonated with me, and it makes sense to me today because you always have to remember when you first walk through that NA and AA room. If you lose that feeling, don't ever lose it. Don't ever want it to go away. Always remember that feeling of hopelessness, fear, scared, because they are feeling every bit of that and then sometimes I don't know how much. But when they walk in that room or they let you hear their story, speak about it, or they're terrified to even talk. I didn't talk. I was quiet. I was very quiet. I was like sitting around. I took my kids actually there once or twice. We had family nights sometimes, and I took my kids there because I wanted them to understand what I was going through because family does not understand sometimes what you're going through. Which they weren't kids then, they were actually teenagers. Um, so they can get it. But Al-Anon is a perfect example. That is a perfect thing for people who are dealing with people who are in alcoholism, NAA or NA. If you go to Al-Anon, it helps the families to understand, hey, this is what they're going through and this and that. I mean, when I got out of rehab, I actually realized that I didn't love the man I was with, my husband. I realized that I didn't even know him. It was like a stranger because I was finally sober. And I felt bad for a long time with that, but I knew I had to take care of myself and I wasn't going to stay in a relationship just because, I just wasn't. I couldn't, or it would have thrown me back to square one. So I had to move forward, and that's what I did. Um, he's a good man to this day. We're friends. I believe he lives in Alaska now. And no, he didn't have to move that far away to get away from me. That would be a joke that people would say. But no, that's where he was in the military and stuff. So he moved back there. Um, but yeah, life's tough. Just always know you may feel hopeless right now, but truly there's a way out of it. So don't give
Yeah,
up.
and just hang in there. You can always buy. I've carried this thing is like 20 years old. It was a little pocket Bible that I carried on me. Um, it was the Psalms and Proverbs, but it's basically a little New Testament. I always carried it
Uh-huh.
on me. You know, it's always good. Just I could pull it out of my, when I was wearing a flight suit, pull it out of a pocket and read, you know, so on and so forth. But that verse, country that I read to you, that was dedicated to you because you really shared something very
God
special
bless
and
you.
very
Thank you.
personal. And
Yeah.
that verse was dedicated to you from me.
Thank you, Gravel. Thank you, Gravel. That's such a sweet. I love that. Thank you so much. Lily says, every prophet, every man and woman of God that fell short from God through their failure was a win. Win with God, and they were stronger in their weakness because God was perfected in our weakness. Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Tiny, beautiful. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. We've got to show you guys. Go get your I'm Voting Felon 2024 hat.
Time to fight back, dawg, they won't like that. Everywhere is somewhere, and that's where the fight's at. I think it's time to fight back, dawg, they won't like.
You can go order at DA Customs L's Leather. You can call it at 781-389-8179. It's DA Customs with a K. It is veteran owned, veteran operated. Beautiful, beautiful things. Custom made leather products, t-shirts, you name it. We have a couple designs that I drew. We're working on. They are faith-based. A couple of shirts we're fixing to come out with, and hopefully you guys will enjoy and like them just as much as I put the time and hard work into it. But David, he's the one who's really doing a great job. Devil Dog, he was in the comments. He's awesome. But also, if you order now, go to his website, put in code, check out free shipping 40, and you can get free shipping at dacustoms.com. And like I said, everyone, I thank you so, so much. Gravel, it's always a pleasure. Everyone on Instagram, everyone on X, everyone that's on YouTube. and Rumble. I appreciate you. I truly do. And if you want to donate to keep the podcast going, you can always donate to Rumble Rants or however the gifts or whatever are done. Everything that is gifted is put back into the podcast to keep it going because you do have to pay for it monthly. And with that, guys, we gotta watch one video. I had to show that one, Grandma. I just had to. But like I said, I love you guys.
I love it. I love it, country. I love it.
Tune in. I'm here 7 nights a week. I love you guys so much. I'm putting in 7 nights a week, and I work a full-time job. So let's keep
You're doing
going.
great, country. You're doing great, country. At least you don't have to go look for your dad, who's like chasing down UPS men like someone.
I know when you told me that story, I thought it was so funny. Like, oh my God, that's hilarious. That is. Be back here tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Tune in. I wonder what tomorrow will bring. Oh, wait a minute. Tomorrow night, you got to tune in. We have a very special guest and show coming tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about the VR headsets and some really crazy things that takes place inside those VR headsets. You will probably take it away from your children once you hear it. This was actually on the news. A friend of mine found out, broke the story, and he's been on quite a few places talking about it, but he's found out new information about stuff. So you guys tune in tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, and we'll have a good show for you.
Are you going to go? Are you staying on live after this? Are you going?
Yeah,
live?
I'm live. I'm live right now.
All right, I'll catch up with you guys there.
I'm still live right now.
There's great weekend. Everybody be safe.
Too.
Be cool. Love y'all.
You too. Love you too. And with all of that, I found my video. Oh, there it is. With that, God bless. And as always, got your crazy out.
I see red, red.